Prepare to get gas, because it's time for the Week in Gear. I'm Andy, and welcome to the show that brings you the most exciting guitar gear released in the last 7 days. This week, Two Notes listen to their users' feedback and update their Genome software accordingly. Well done, Two Notes. And Earthquaker Devices packs a massive wall of legendary drone metal destruction into a pedalboard-friendly footprint. This episode is sponsored by this, the VocoLoco from Radial. Do you want to know what it does? Well, stick around and I'll show you. Now, let's kick off this week's gear list with a range of guitars that should have been an easy slam dunk victory for a major brand, but instead leaves a bit of a bitter taste in the mouth. In a continuing effort to make the names of their guitars longer, this is the Fender Limited Edition Player Fusion Series. Yes, first up this week is a rather interesting spin-off of the Mexican-made Player line, and that takes Fender's most legendary silhouettes and shapes and strips away absolutely everything that doesn't directly serve the riff. Now, we'll get into the Fender-ness of this in a moment, but first let's talk about the guitars. Fender has essentially gone the full hot-rodded super strat direction here, giving players flat 12-inch radius ebony fingerboards, although they're quite brown, chunky jumbo frets, maple necks carved to a thin C profile, and high output saturated Player 2 modified humbuckers, which are engineered to cut right through that dense down-tuned mix. That's where you hold down-tuned guitars. This range lands with three main heavy hitters. First is the Fusion Stratocaster HSS, and that's available in Olympic Pearl and Black. This pairs the slim older body with a high output bridge humbucker and Player 2 noiseless Strat pickups in the middle and the neck position, and that's backed by a push-pull coil split, a 2-point tremolo, and deluxe locking tuners. Then you have the Fusion Telecaster HH Floyd Rose in black and purple. I mean, Aura. Fender call it Aura. That's purple. This is a completely stripped back, inlay-free metal monster that's running dual modified humbuckers, a locking nut, and a Floyd Rose special double locking tremolo system for those endless dive bombs. And finally, the standout for me, the Fusion Jaguar Baritone Special. Look at it! Available in black and OMG Silverburst. And I regret saying OMG now. Sorry. This is a 27-inch extended scale beast that's tuned from B to B from the factory. It's got an Adjustomatic bridge and a stop tailpiece. Those are dual humbuckers and a master TBX tone circuit, which is passive. But the real treat here is the electronics upgrade. The classic upper Jaguar rhythm circuit has been completely rewired to house dual, and I love this name, I also hate it, spinner split roller pots, which is a variable coil split and lets you gradually blend the humbuckers down into single coils rather than just switching from one to the other. I dig it. Now, let's address Dumbo, the elephant in the room. A month or so ago, if you'd told me a factory Silverburst Baritone Jaguar with an ebony board and full spinner split humbuckers was dropping from Fender, I would have lost my mind. I would have easily, well, this would have sailed past the finish line as an undisputed, immediate pick of the week. But right now, it feels almost wrong and slightly dangerous to even mention these. Given Fender's recent corporate behavior, it is incredibly difficult to look at these, wherever they are, they're up there, and get genuinely excited. I honestly wish that I knew less. I wish that I could just walk into a guitar shop and see this Silverburst Jaguar Baritone on the wall and pick it up and play it as the instrument that it is, without knowing all the stuff behind it. I haven't really commented on the Fender situation because I want this channel to be a place where you can come and escape drama and politics and who did what to whom and oh my goodness, this person has done something terrible, let's all shout at them for a while. There are channels for that. This is not one of them. I just don't want people getting all bent out of shape, and I do not support YouTube channels that benefit purely from drama. I don't mind getting the message out there, but anything that just purely survives on drama, it makes the world a worse place, I feel. Back to Fender. Oh look, a soapbox. Here it feels like they're pulling a classic corporate move, sort of squeezing out the little guys whilst simultaneously trying to sell us the exact hot-rodded niche guitars that independent builders have spent years popularizing. Having cake and eating it, and then ordering more and eating that, amongst other things. It is almost lunchtime. I'm quite hungry. Cake. The gear itself is spec'd and priced well for Fender, but the timing is rough. If you can separate the corporate drama from the wood and the wire, these are really fun Fenders. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. I'll put this soapbox way over there. Crash sound effect. Thank you. I recently put out a post on the community page of this YouTube channel and asked if you, the viewer, prefer the QR code up there or the flags when it comes to pricing. And I'll be honest, the QR code was an attempt to do three things. Number one was to enable you to access information quicker, and I like gadgets and technology. Number two was to reduce the risk of there being a false price up there on screen, because once it's up there, it can't come down again. And number three, super honestly, to increase the chances of you clicking my affiliate link to support the show. However, 92% of viewers that voted preferred the flags. And although this is not a democracy, I would be a fool not to listen to you in this case. So, good news everyone! The flags are back. And we'll stay with the QR code, but it'll appear at the beginning and at the end of every TWIG episode. So, the Fender Fusion series, the Fender Limited Edition Player Super Fusion series starts at around 1,200 notes. But make sure to click the video description links thing and the first comment thing to get accurate pricing in your region. Now, go away flags! The gasometer for this Fender Fusion Player series lands on a highly conflicted add to cart. Boy oh boy do I want that baritone, but I don't want anyone to see me playing it right now. And I find that really sad. If you spent the last few years crying tears of actual blood trying to afford a signature life pedal on the secondary market, Earthquaker Devices has finally dropped this thing into their permanent mass production lineup. This is the brand new Earthquaker Devices Sun Half-Life. Such a beautifully clever name. Let's hear it. The big news here, apart from the fact that you can actually buy this, is the footprint. It is exactly half the physical size of the massive Life Pedal version 3, which means it will actually fit on a normal pedal board. And to get it down to this size, you do lose one thing, the dedicated third foot switch for the octave. That is gone. Instead, the analog octave up is now built straight into the distortion side. You do get independent foot switches for the main amplitude distortion and magnitude boost sections, and you just use the central octave knob to blend that harsh full wave rectifier texture over whichever doom riff you're playing at the time. They did keep the expression pedal jack on the side though, so you can still do hands-free octave swells with a foot controller. The main distortion side is still that brutal big box rodent inspired circuit, oh, it's a rat, with about 60 decibels of pure lovely filth. That's a lot of decibels. It is managed by a sweeping low pass filter knob that tames your high frequencies anywhere from 500 Hz to 30 kHz. There's no chance of me hearing up there. But to make it behave with your specific amp rig, that's a very useful function to have. You also get their three-way clipping toggle. You set it to op amp for no diodes and maximum raw volume assault, asymmetrical for a slightly compressed, tube-like crunch using silicon diodes, and an LED, or symmetrical, for that classic heavy sort of dual silicon croach. Croach? Crunch. What is a croach? I don't know what a croach is, but I want a pedal with a croach mode, please. Thank you. Flip over to the boost side and you get an all-discrete MOSFET clean booster designed entirely to slam your preamp without messing with your natural guitar tone. Nice. The Half-Life pedal, so clever, lands at around 250 notes. If you like Doom, or you just want to sit alone and drone your way into happiness, this is probably one of the best ways to do it. And it won't take up your whole pedal board. The gasometer sludges up to buy it now. Links are in the description. Wink, wink. Oh, don't say wink, wink, just do it. Now, wouldn't it be great if you could put not just your guitars and baritones and basses through Doom pedals, but also your voice? Let's talk about that. Out of all the members of a band, the guitar player is usually the one that has the most effects pedals, and none of the other band members get to really experience them. Well, the VocoLoco from Radial changes that. I've got a microphone plugged in here, and this is going into my audio interface so I can record. And if I unmute it, I can talk to you through the microphone in my hand. And the VocoLoco has its own preamp and equalizer section. But the real fun stuff is when you introduce some guitar pedals literally into the mix. So now I've got a mic coming in, I've got an effects loop, and I've got a line output. And I can use the guitar effects with my handheld mic, which incidentally is a condenser and needs 48 volts, which is being provided by the VocoLoco. If I engage this, it will turn on the effects loop, and then I can bring in the wet just like that. So I'm using a reverb, but you can put any guitar pedal through this and affect the voice and mix it live. Yeah, I'm moving on. And it's not just vocals you can put through this. Anything that you can mic up, like an acoustic guitar or a trumpet or a Mongolian nose flute, would work with the VocoLoco and your current effects systems, thus bringing your band closer together with the power of guitar effects. The VocoLoco will run on 9 volts, so you can power it from a regular guitar effects power supply. And if you have a collection of pedals, this opens up a whole new world of creativity. A big thank you to Radial and Face for sponsoring this episode of The Week in Gear. Now please click the subscribe button. If you're a digital player who has been using 2-Note software to manage your virtual cabinet arrays, or if you've been looking for an all-in-one digital ecosystem that handles the amp modeling and your impulse responses and studio processing without forcing you to buy half a dozen different plugins, you're going to like this. 2-Notes has officially dropped the curtain on a massive full-bore upgrade to their flagship ecosystem. This, wherever it is Genome 2.0. 2.0, I think is how they say it in the movies. Version 2.0. Now, this isn't just a minor software patch. 2-Notes has completely re-architected the signal path. Re-architected? Is that a word? They've rebuilt it. They've expanded the grid to 12 component slots per lane, meaning that you get a pretty massive 24 component total architecture the second that you pull up dual lanes. To drive that massive system, they've thrown 7 brand new proprietary, I love that word, TSM AI virtual, did I say AI? Virtual tube amps. That's straight in the stock arsenal. We are talking digital models inspired by very, very heavy weights like the Soldano SL0100, the Mesa Boogie Mark V, one of my favorites, the dual rectifier, hello, and the orange Rockaverb. But the real talking point here is their new Capture Studio app. 2-Notes have said they're introducing an industry-first multi-parametric AmpNet format, which lets you capture the exact digital fingerprint of your own physical tube amps. Yes, those things over there. And the Katana. And to make sure those profiles actually play back with full dynamic realism, 2-Notes have integrated a new Paradex component directly into the stock slot list. That might confuse you. It certainly confused me. And honestly, there's so much in this update that I had to read through the information several ways, several times, backwards, forwards, upside down, before I understood it. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, I really recommend you check out the link in the video description, because you can download a basic version of Genome for free to try out. That's a no-brainer. Just go and do that once you finish watching the video, if you have a computer, assuming you're not watching this on a phone or a TV. For the tracking and the mixing crowd, Two Notes have also dropped in a couple of utility features. First is a lightning-fast global transpose engine. Beautiful. This gives you real-time, ultra-low latency pitch control across a massive plus or minus 24 semitone range. If you want to drop your guitar down to a virtual baritone tuning instantly without changing strings or without your tracking getting muddy or glitchy, this promises to handle it, and I can't wait to try it. Second, you get Mix Fit, which is not the gym that I've just joined. It is a precision tone refinement tool built specifically to sit your guitar tracks cleanly inside a dense studio mix. So it's a bunch of studio tools designed for guitar players, probably. Simple ones. The Codex engine also gets a massive overhaul, adding full support for NAM A2 profiles, input-output calibration, and output normalization. That is swell. But here's the catch, my friend. If you already have an existing desktop license, the desktop update is completely free. I can confirm I did it earlier. However, if you want to run it on mobile, Genome is now officially available on the iPad, but desktop users don't get it automatically. You will have to grab an all-access pass to port your impulse responses, the dyne-IRs, and all your stuff that you've bought in the ecosystem over to the iPad app. The iPad app does not come for free if you already have the desktop version. I don't have too much of a problem with this, because I know that porting over software for an iPad is not as simple as it may sound. So it's not surprising that Two Notes asks you to pay for it. It is just a bit unfortunate. I'm a big fan of what Two Notes do. You hear their Capture X Plus, there it is, in pretty much every one of my videos, and I think if given a chance, Genome could be one of the most popular plugins available. It's approachable, it's insanely deep, and it completely refines how you track in the box. I dig it. Prices start from free, but if you want to get some of the unlocked features, it's going to set you back around 90 notes for the desktop version, and then a further price increase for the suite version. The gasometer skips right past the checkout line and lands on a solid buy it now. Links are in the description. Next up on the list, let's push that pricing down, but push the weirdness right into the twilight zone. If you love guitars that look like they were cobbled together in a very dark corner of a workshop from 3 different vintage assembly lines, your favorite holiday has officially arrived. Squier have just released the highly anticipated mid-year drop for the Paranormal Series. There are some brand new configurations for the lineup. First, we have the return of a certified cult favorite, the Squier Baritone Jazzmaster HH. My Antigua burst is over there somewhere. Squier has taken the iconic offset Niato body and bolted on a massive 27-inch baritone scale neck, tuned down to low B to B, straight from the factory. It comes in oxblood, darm, and a classic seafoam green, darm. I hope they're there when I'm saying this, by the way. Victor, if you're editing this and you're not putting those on there, well, please put them on there. Don't make me look foolish. This runs with an Adjustomatic bridge and a stop bar tailpiece for rock-solid intonation, vintage tuning machines, and skirted amp knobs that very 70s. It's loaded with dual Fender-designed Alnico humbuckers navigated by a simple 3-way toggle switch. This is a bound Laurel fingerboard sporting those perloid block inlays. Wowzers. Then we reach what might be the most beautifully chaotic model of the entire drop, the Paranormal Electric 6. Now, don't confuse this with a standard bass 6 or baritone thing. This is a normal 6-string electric guitar, but built around the rather striking offset body silhouette of a 1960s electric 12. But Squier didn't stop there. They also bolted on a Coronado-style headstock, a probably comfortable 24 3/4 inch short scale length, and a floating Mustang-style tremolo bridge. This is going to be driven by a trio of unique Fender-designed split-coil 6 Alnico pickups. That's wired into a wonderfully quirky 4-way rotary selector. They come in a gorgeous Daphne blue and a rather vintage-looking sunburst. Next up, for the bass player in you, the Paranormal Precision Thinline SJ. This completely reimagines the original P-Bass as a resonant, lightweight, semi-hollow thin-line machine with single F-hole cut in the top of the Niato body, but the standout choice here is the completely odd SJ pickup configuration, and I dig it. You get a Fender-designed Alnico single-coil 51 P-Bass pickup sitting in the neck, paired with an Alnico single-coil jazz bass pickup down at the bridge. That is managed by a 3-way blade switch. It's weird, and I love it. This is the sort of thing, I can't even talk. This is the sort of thing that makes me want to be a bass player. It sports a 51 P-Bass shape, a traditional 34-inch scale, a 4-saddle vintage-style bridge with slotted barrel saddles, and comes in, I can't even handle this, olive, vintage white or 3-color sunburst. I almost can't decide which is more beautiful, and then I see the olive again. I'm like, yeah, it's that one. Next up is the Stratocaster of the range. And at a distance, this looks like a bold, deluxe-era Strat running a large 70s style headstock and skirted amp control knobs. But a closer look will reveal that it reworks the entire formula by using a rather potent asymmetrical HS layout. You've got a snappy Fender-designed Telecaster Alnico single-coil pickup in the neck slot, and an Alnico humbucker at the bridge. I don't know what this is. Managed by a 3-way blade selector again. You're also getting a vintage synchronized tremolo and a push-pull tone pot that splits the bridge humbucker. You can pick this up in vintage white, very nice, 3-color sunburst, or, if like me, the Lake Placid blue. The blue is definitely the standout for me. But wait, because I've saved the best for last. Because the design team at Squier had one more card up their sleeve for this mid-year drop, I have to tell you that this is an absolute stunner. It's making me itch. This is the Paranormal Troublemaker Telecaster Deluxe Bigsby. Really long names again, Fender. Now, Squier's cheeky nod to the Kalamazoo returns, but this time it is completely armed to the teeth with a genuine Bigsby B50 vibrato tailpiece. This is quite obviously, essentially a Les Paul-inspired telly built out of a solid Niato body with those upscale deluxe aesthetics, some elegant white binding around the body, a bound Indian laurel fingerboard, and perloid block inlays. Up top, it rocks a massive, oversized 70s style Strat headstock with those vintage style tuners. Electronics wise, it gives you the full dual humbucker layout. Nice. You get a pair of Fender designed Alnico humbucking pickups that's wired to the independent volume and tone controls per pickup, just like a Les Paul, but they're using skirted amp knobs. I dig those so much. And both tone knobs feature push-pull pots for dedicated coil splitting. Combine that with the 3-way toggle switch, and it's a Les Paul telly. That's it. Oh, and it's got an Adjustomatic bridge, which is also connected to an anchored tailpiece. But this is the part that makes me sad. A slim C maple neck. We were so close to perfection, and then out the window. It is available in either a black or a trouser-tingling honey sunburst. I dig this honey sunburst so much. The biggest negative here, apart from the fact that Fender's legal department have ruined the chances of these Squiers getting the opportunity they deserve, is that Squier could have used rosewood for the fretboards, but they went with laurel. And I have no problem with laurel apart from how it looks, but I think that Fender used laurel purely to stop it competing too much with the next Fender guitar in the price range, which is silly because Fender don't do these exact models. But if you take away the Fender legal nonsense and you accept that laurel fretboard, this whole Paranormal range is extremely fun and every one of them is right up my alley. apart from those thin necks. It's another triumph for Squier if they can guarantee the quality control at these price points. Speaking of price, this range starts in the high 400s and goes up to almost 600 notes. If they were not Squiers, they would be cheaper, but they are, so they're not. One more point, even though officially announced and available at the links in the video description, stock is not yet available, but as always, pre-orders can be made if that's your bag. The gasometer easily leaps up to a wallet on fire, but then sadly simmers down to add to cart. Andy's Pick of the Week! And finally, we have arrived at the absolute grand finale, my undisputed pick of the week. If you love highly expressive, touch-responsive dirt boxes and massive historical significance, Electro-Harmonix has just dropped an absolute megaton bomb on the market. This is the brand new EHX Percolator. For decades, if you wanted to chase the legendary mid-forward, sort of metal-scraping noise rock guitar grit popularized by the late and great Steve Albini, you probably had to spend a fortune on a rare 70s original interfax unit or one of the newer ones, or turn to boutique builders for a premium clone. But EHX has just stepped into the arena and completely broke that metric, and it sounds like this. This analog stomp box is a beautifully modernized, feature-packed tribute to the mythical HP1 harmonic percolator circuit. I love this circuit. I love Steve Albini. I think I might love this Electro-Harmonix pedal. The genius in it lies in the asymmetrical clipping layout, which is engineered explicitly to emphasize even order harmonics. So instead of turning your signal into a generic block of compressed mush, it acts like a cranked, naughty tube amplifier, giving your notes, well, harmonic complexity and those touch-sensitive dynamics that we love to talk about. But it still maintains absolute string-to-string note definition. EHX completely revamped the control matrix, and that unlocks some new parameters. On the face, you get the harmonics knob for your input gain stage, shifting from light overdrive to heavy fuzz destruction. You get a balance knob for the master output volume, and a new bias control. And this knob adjusts the voltage of the gain stage, and that lets you dial in everything from smooth sustain all the way up to those sputtering, gated, sticky, Velcro-like octave fuzz mayhem notes that I love. Calm Andrew. Be still, my beating heart. In the middle is a fuzz/drive toggle switch. Flip it to fuzz mode, and the clipping diodes are fully engaged for thick, compressed, heavy saturation, yes. Flip it down to drive mode, and it completely lifts those diodes out of the circuit, which transforms the pedal into a transistor overdrive. And for the tweak head tracking engineers among us, if you remove the back plate, there's an internal trim pot that you can adjust and introduce an aggressive sub-octave rumble and push the circuit gain. I want to try that. There's also the EHX trademark dual action foot switch technology. Bam, straight in this pedal, allowing you to use it as a standard latching true bypass switch, or hold down the switch mid-song for momentary bursts of feedback, and then you go back to the off mode by releasing the switch. Gotta try that as well. But here is the absolute kick in the teeth for the boutique market. It lands globally at a pretty jaw-dropping 99 notes. And I like that there was no need to make this pedal more expensive, so they didn't. And I can see this ending up on a lot of boards and making people smile a lot. This one included. I totally dig the harmonic percolator circuit, and I totally dig this pedal. Definitely dig the price. A lot of digging in this episode. I should have brought a shovel. The only problem I have with this pedal is that I've noticed the EHX pedals have the foot switch a little further up into the middle of the box than I would like. And this is not just this pedal, it's EHX pedals generally. On this pedal, I want to stomp it on a stage covered in beer and grime with my big stomping feet. And I need a little bit more space between my foot switch that I'm going to stomp and a tiny toggle switch. This is a small problem to have, and it won't affect most people, but there's plenty of room to move that switch down a little bit, and I wish Electro-Harmonix had done that. The gasometer is not on fire. It is completely dissolved. This is an absolute, unquestioned, my wallet's on fire. Sorry, my wallet's on fire. If you're watching on a telly, here's the QR code to scan. If you're watching on a phone, there are links in the video description. A big thanks to all the people that support this show. There are names from YouTube and Patreon scrolling past my face right now. There's a good one. There's another one. There's another one. And now a shout out to the top tier members. Antonio Cruz Barreto, Buddha Blue, Boom Shakalaka, Buzzle, Chris Kelly, Craig's Fist, Darth Bagel, David Meyer, Dirk, Doug Paget, Fuzz Onkel, Jindrik Strelke, Johnny McBadminton, Couture Pop, Mike CQB241, Mike Lute, Andrew Morgan, Craig Bubba, Darius Lives, Gary O'Neill, Josh Tanberg, Man, Dude, Bro, Fat Raptor, PQ Deads, Sarang Narayan, Sanya Chen, Sarah Marie, Searching for Tone, Southern Panda 33, Thunderbird Calls, Twig is Inconceivable. Brilliant good show, man. Thank you. I wish you a great week, and use the word loco in your comments to show the world that you watched until the end of this video. And until next time, stay fresh, stay clean, and stay juicy. I don't know, I'm just trying something out. Bye!